I feel like my apartment is becoming like an oasis, right? With these plants. Isn't it nice? These two over here, one over, and there's others that you guys can't see. But it's nice, right? It like adds character. Because living in Miami, you know, it's like very sort of sterile architecture. A lot of white walls, tile floors, so it's very easy for a home to look cold. So the plants really help, I think. It's the first time, because I've always lived in apartments that had like, actually that's not true. My apartments in New York City didn't have carpet, they had wood. But I'm just thinking of my last apartment in LA with carpet. It's like I just didn't even want to deal with plants, you know, with the soil and the watering and all that shit. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this video. This video is another spontaneous video, just like my last one. Yet another moment on the beach. Something happened. Well, this time something didn't happen. It's just that I was thinking about something and I was like, I should make a video about this. By the way, speaking of, since I just came home from the beach, can you guys see? I'll take a look after this video, but like, can you guys see these ever so slight sunburns? But it's a good burn, right? Because it's mild. So it'll be a nice tan. I'm actually surprised I'm not darker here. Anyway, here's what happened while I was at the beach. Okay, so sometimes, like today, I went to the beach in the morning, didn't sleep very well, so I got some coffee before I went to the beach. I am one of those people, when I drink coffee, for me it's like cocaine. Like, I get wired, all my emotions are heightened, and I was going on yet another walk, you know, right along the beach in Miami Beach. By the way, today was beautiful. Beautiful water, like so clear, perfect sunny day. It was beautiful. I saw sharks, which is a little scary, but it's also always a sign of how clear the water is when you can see them like that. Anyway, so I had one of those days where I had some coffee and I was just like triggered thinking about this YouTube influencer drama that I want to talk about during this video. So normally, and then I was like, I'll make a video. So normally, I feel like, I don't know that I've ever made a video about YouTube influencers and that kind of thing. And I honestly think most of my subscribers, just based on the comments, it seems like my average subscriber, if my subscriber base is, if my comment sections on my videos are demonstrative of my subscriber base, which I think it's fair to assume it is demonstrative of that. By the way, great word, demonstrative. Then I have to assume the average subscriber of mine is a gay man over the age of like 40, particularly white men over 40. So I'm sure some of you guys are like, I could not care less about these YouTubers. And listen, I agree, okay? I've worked with a lot of YouTubers like behind the scenes. That's actually kind of how I got into this. And some of them are batshit crazy. Some of them are so unprofessional. Some of them are not that interesting. So I'm really not in this world of like, you know, subscribing to a bunch of YouTubers and like seeing their lives unfold. Like, I really don't care. But I wanted to make a video about this recent headline because it relates to gay stories and gay life. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, based on the subject of this title of this video, I'm going to give you the Clip Notes version because I'm sure some of you are like, I really don't care. Who are all these people? Clip Notes version, Tati Westbrook is a beauty makeup YouTuber, okay? That's what she's known for. James Charles, same thing, but much younger and a gay boy. So like, that's part of the appeal, right? It's a gay boy doing makeup. Oh, shocking, different. And he actually had a CoverGirl contract years ago, which is pretty cool. So it's like pretty neat, right? I'm assuming that he's the first and maybe the only guy, I could be wrong, thus far who's had a CoverGirl contract. I mean, it's in the name, CoverGirl, and yet he's a boy. I mean, it's pretty interesting. And then two other YouTubers that I'm gonna bring up later on. One of them is also beauty and makeup. That's Jeffree Star. You might have heard that name. And then Shane Dawson, who I don't know how he became a beauty makeup YouTuber, but he's one of those YouTubers who's like OG. He's been a successful YouTuber with a huge following for a very long time. And you know how that is. once they have millions of followers, then all the brands come forth and like all of a sudden they have a makeup line, all of a sudden they're selling perfume, all of a sudden they're in a movie, all of a sudden they do this, they do that. So he's not really a beauty and makeup YouTuber, it's a sham, but he's become one, meaning I guess he has like a makeup line or like some brand wanted to work with him. So this is like beauty, makeup, YouTube drama. And now let's get into the details, okay? Because the devil is in the details, as I always say. So, flashback, okay? About a year ago, Tati Westbrook made a video on YouTube to her millions of followers saying that James Charles was just like a shitty person, basically. And that he, was not a good friend to her because he ended up partnering with like a rival brand of, I guess, some product that she had out. But on top of that, she went in with the accusations, and James Charles is a young gay guy. He's very young, and she's got to be like late 30s, early 40s, somewhere around there. He is like 19, 20, 21, that age, okay? So this is 1 year ago. And she was like, on top of that, and you can YouTube this. You can search for this. But in the video, she said that he also has disturbing behavior with straight men, and he kind of like lures straight men, and he uses his power as an influencer. The fact that he's wealthy and he has all these followers and he has fame, he uses that to his advantage to like hit on straight men. Now, she made this video, it went viral, it created quite a, storm in the YouTube world. Again, average person does not care, but this became like a big headline even outside of the YouTube world because he literally had millions and millions of subscribers and he was losing them like this, like overnight. I remember there was a website dedicated to tracking in real time how many subscribers he was losing, and it was significant, like just like this, thousands disappearing. And literally like overnight, over a period of, I don't know, maybe like a week, he lost millions of subscribers. So if nothing else, from like a business perspective, right, people were looking at this like, oh my God, like his stock just tanked because she exposed him, right, because of this like cancel culture. Meanwhile, of course, hers just skyrocketed because people were like, oh, this poor woman who's like speaking up and speaking her truth and good for her and da-da-da. And I remember at the time, backlash towards him was crazy, but I remember thinking like, this makes me uncomfortable. This dynamic of a straight woman who's of a certain age and, being her age is not, you're not old. I'm not age shaming, but I'm just saying to be her age and use that kind of platform to shame somebody old enough, honestly, old enough to be her son. That would make her, pretty young teenage mom. But you get my point. To go after him and then talk about like his character. The kid was like, I don't know, 18, 19 at the time. To talk about his character and that he like lures straight men, and it just really rubbed me the wrong way because I think because I'm a gay person for the most part, that like that's the main reason that I was annoyed by this, because I thought the dynamics of how gay men interact with other gay men, straight men, bi-curious men, bisexual men, men who are on the down low, men who are closeted. I've made videos about this. I've made videos about the dynamics and like the awkwardness of like the signals, and you're trying to pick up the signals, and sometimes there's something there, and sometimes you're not sure, and you're like, am I crazy? Or is this real? There's something about a straight woman getting involved with that or having an opinion and making assumptions about how a gay man is interacting with men who may or may not express interest back in him makes me uncomfortable, because it's not her place, and you don't understand those dynamics unless you are gay. It's that simple. In the same way that like you can sympathize, right? Like you can watch or even be a part of these protests with Black Lives Matter. You don't know what it's like to be Black in America unless you're Black in America, right? So my whole thing is, if you don't know about it, don't speak on it, don't cast judgment, just observe, just listen. We all have our own opinions, but for her to have used her platform with millions of people watching to shame this kid about his sexuality, even if he wasn't gay, like, to me, that is just off limits. And for some reason, I guess the average person who was paying attention to this wasn't responding that way based on the comments at the time, and how he really literally overnight like lost such a big chunk of like his stock worth, if we can call it that, right? His subscriber base. Fast forward a year later, the irony is he now has way more subscribers than he had then. So he like gained them back and then some. And this kind of like blew over because that's the culture that we live in, right? It's like people move on to the next thing. And now she just made another video almost a year later, basically being really apologetic and, oh, I made a mistake. I apologize to him. I shouldn't have done that. And she's now throwing these other two guys, Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, under the bus, saying that they manipulated her into making this video and putting this out there, and that they were feeding her these stories. Now, here's the thing. It's possible that Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star have shitty character. It's possible that they did whisper things into her ear, that they, had manipulative tactics and an agenda, And the thing is, they probably did fuel, the fire, right? Like, there's usually truth. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle, I feel, with any things where somebody's saying this is not true and the other person's saying, no, it's completely true and whatever. What I don't like about this situation is that here, again, is a woman of a certain age, and I'm not age shaming, I'm just saying she is an adult woman. She is not a child. She's not a teenager hanging out on YouTube. This is a grown woman, businesswoman, with millions of subscribers, millions of people watching her. That means that she has a platform and that she has a responsibility. And she feels the need, a second time now, to point out how she's the victim, and here are these gay men who are being horrible to her. Can gay men be horrible? Of course, any human being can be horrible. But what bothers me is the victimhood thing of like, she's crying on camera and here's this big apology, but I was just a victim in this. I was being manipulated by these two. And I feel like she made this video because now, the tables have flipped, and now people are maybe catching on to what I was thinking the first time around, and she started feeling the fire, and so bloop, now she's projecting and blaming these two. Again, maybe they did play a role, maybe they didn't mastermind the whole thing. At the end of the day, okay, if somebody tells you to jump off a bridge and you jump off the bridge, you're the one who jumped off the bridge. They didn't jump off the bridge. They just told you to because for whatever reason. You're the one who took the action. So she can say whatever she wants. At the end of the day, you're the buffoon if you choose to jeopardize your business, your brand, your image, somebody else's character, somebody else's career, potentially somebody else's brand, to make these big comments. And it's so interesting and ironic that this is happening, because this is what I think everybody in our society is talking about right now. These people with privilege who use that privilege irresponsibly. And I think more and more people are catching on to this. What I see on camera is a straight white woman boo-hooing a la Amy Cooper style because she got cornered and she wants public sympathy. And instead of just being accountable and being like, you know what, I fucked up. And instead of dragging up, my whole thing is a real apology, you don't drag people under the bus with you. You just own it and you do it. And it's remarkable to me with everything, the irony that I just mentioned, that it was ironic. It's ironic to me and remarkable that with everything happening, these people are still so self-absorbed and focused on this like YouTube gossip, which I guess it's hypocritical because I'm talking about it myself. But the fact that these people have millions of followers and they have a platform, they have a responsibility, they have a power, they have an influence. And instead of talking about things that actually fucking matter, she's using her platform to play victim and blame this guy. And the irony is not lost on me because she is part of the problem. She is what people are talking about. People who are so disconnected from the bigger issues and are living in their own bubbles and don't realize the bigger picture. Again, the other guys she mentioned, Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, they could be terrible people for all I know. I don't really care. They're not the ones who, so to speak, pulled the trigger. This is the woman who went out, made some pretty bold claims about a very young kid who had a fledgling career, a blossoming career online, and she was willing to put all of that in jeopardy to make a point. And now she's circled back and she's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Waterworks. By the way, these guys are assholes. The older I get, the harder it really does become for me to be around straight white people. And that's a huge generalization, but I find that so many, especially in America, are out of touch. Like this lady who is more concerned about people's perception of her and like being involved in the YouTube cauldron of gossip than fucking having an impact with causes that everybody is talking about right now. This is what she is concerned with. And I find that the older I get, the more I see this myself. And you know, with cancel culture, people have their opinions, right? Like a lot of people are very anti-cancel culture. They're like, we should give people second chances and da-da-da. I think people should do whatever they want. But I think as a society, we have to be more mindful that we are helping these people and financially and career-wise. Like we are lifting up these people on pedestals and we are giving them a platform. We are, by watching their content, by buying their products or the brands that they're associated with, we are directly supporting them. And I think we have to be more conscious of who we're supporting, why we're supporting them. I mean, just the other day, it's like Kanye West is now running for president, allegedly. And his wife, Kim Kardashian, retweeted or like shared his tweet or whatever. And I'm like, how are people supporting this lunacy? Like at a certain point, we have to excel as a people and like stand up for something, right? Like at what point do you decide, hey, this is like moral corruption now? So it's probably not a good idea for me to keep watching these people's shows, keep following them on social media, keep buying their products. Like at what point do we step up as a society? Anyway, I've said a lot. I've said too much. Always curious to hear what you guys think. I feel like I might need another coffee because now I'm hitting, you know, after you go to the beach, it's like then it hits you, that wave of like, whoa, like I just need a nap. I just need some water. That's how I feel right now. But curious to see what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time.